Chariot progressive, listen. Echo choir has breached.
Mike Howell is your typical small-town stoner, working as a store clerk in the small town of Lyman, West Virginia, and lives with his girlfriend Phoebe. At work, he spends most of his time drawing his comic, The Adventures of Apollo Ape and Chip the Brick, the only thing in this boring town that Mike enjoys.
Apollo Ape. I just wanted to tell you I had like a really funny idea for it.
Mike has a serious problem though. He is physically unable to leave Lyman, as each time he tries, like the time they tried taking a vacation to Hawaii, Mike has severe panic attacks, which leaves him feeling like a disappointment to Phoebe, which isn't ideal since Mike wants to propose to her, but maybe feels like he isn't worth it. Mike also has a secret that not even he knows. He is actually a sleeper CIA assassin, and even with his memories wiped, he will soon become a target of the very organization that created him. So while Mike goes on about his regular small-town life, there is trouble brewing inside the CIA. Senior Agent Lassiter receives a damning phone call. A secret program nicknamed Tough Guy has been reactivated, and their next target is none other than Mike Howell. The call is a simple courtesy, and the voice warns her not to interfere. But how can she not do anything? Mike is her asset from the Wiseman program. That night Mike and Phoebe sit out under the stars, him telling her about his latest chapter of Apollo Ape. Meanwhile, further down the road from them, firefighters work to recover a crashed car. Mike thinks maybe he is holding Phoebe back, like the tree that stopped the car that's always meant to be moving, but she reassures him he isn't the tree.
You are not the tree. Okay.
Lassiter doesn't plan to just sit by and do nothing, confronting her rival Agent Yates, the man in charge of the Tough Guy program. She suspects that he is targeting her assets and program to prove a point, but Yates claims he's just handling a security breach since Mike keeps trying to leave town. Lassiter starts to go in on him until Yates shows his true colors. He likes having her under his thumb, and he will eliminate Mike and crush her program once and for all. The next morning Mike has a secret meeting with his dealer Rose, so he heads out early for work.
One thing. Groceries.
Rose soon arrives, and it turns out Mike is just purchasing fireworks for the moment he proposes to Phoebe.
Oh, this is some serious proposal, engagement, wedding.
Mike heads back to work, and this is where the movie gets going. Later he's chilling as usual when Lassiter enters. She approaches the counter, then starts repeating some seemingly random words to a clueless Mike who just thinks she's crazy.
Listen. Mandelbrot set is in motion. Chariot progressive.
Lassiter is actually trying to reactivate Mike. But when it appears to not work, Lassiter leaves disappointed, both unaware the activation process has begun. A few minutes later, Mike spots two men outside next to his car, unaware they're CIA assassins. The men suddenly attack, but to Mike's shock, he unleashes some blinding moves and takes both men out. He calls Phoebe in panic, telling her he just killed a man with a spoon. Phoebe is shocked, wondering how this could even happen. As they try to figure out what to do next, the sheriff pulls up to the scene.
A fucking spoon?
Yates can't believe his two guys got taken out by a spoon, but suspects that Lassiter has activated Mike. He knows she is still in town, so he orders the Air Force commander on the ground, Otis, to lock the entire town down and find her. Mike has been arrested, but that's actually a good thing as there's nowhere for him to run. Two psycho assassins, Crane and Laffer, soon pull up to the station. Inside, Mike is fumbling over his words trying to explain what exactly happened at the store, but Phoebe is more interested in the woman and what she said to him. Mike somehow recalls Lassiter's words exactly.
Mandelbrot set is in motion, echo choir.
Leaving himself confused as to what is going on with him. Sheriff Watts then interrogates them both. He was never really a fan of Mike and his use of the devil's lettuce, but even for him murder is way overboard. Phoebe speaks up for him explaining it was self-defense, but Watts tells her to pick a role, either his girlfriend or his mom. Suddenly the power to the station is cut, causing the backup to kick in. Trouble has arrived. A deputy moves Mike and Phoebe to the holding cell when the assassins launch their attack on the station. While Crane rips the station to shreds, gunning down Watts upstairs, Laffer bursts into the holding area to eliminate Mike, but Mike's latent training kicks in, and he fights off Laffer, knocking his teeth out before locking him inside the cell. Crane goes to finish off a dying Watts when she spots Mike and Phoebe escaping the station. She lets off shots, but Watts handcuffs her leg to a chair. Despite this, she still tries tossing a grenade, but Mike throws it right back. Crane has survived, but Mike walks down on her, brutally killing her with his bare hands. Lassiter is indeed still in town, unable to pass the roadblock of men in hazmat suits. She calls Yates, who has spun a story of a virus outbreak to cover for his operation. He warns her not to interfere, but Lassiter plans to take him down if it's the last thing she does. Meanwhile, the tables have turned, with Phoebe the one freaking out, not sure what to do, and Mike being the calm and collected one, reassuring her everything will be fine. They'll just get in Mike's car and drive away. But his car suddenly explodes from the bomb the assassins planted before. Lassiter gets to the decimated station and sees Crane's body. She calls a close friend, Agent Peter, having a bad feeling about the agents Yates is using. If they're professionals, then their operation should be clean and discreet. However, the destroyed station says otherwise, so she wants to know where these agents are being sourced. She also needs a weapon drop, begging the worried Peter, as without his help she will be dead soon. Mike and Phoebe get to Rose's home when his latent memories begin resurfacing, leaving him confused as to what experiences were actually real. Phoebe strangely ignores the comment. Then they start walking the rest of the way to Rose's home, Mike still shocked at the things he now knows, like everything about guns, combat, and could list at least 50 types of tanks for some reason. They then encounter Rose, who rushes them inside afraid of the fake virus going around town. When Yates lands in Lyman, an entire FEMA camp has been set up to his annoyance as he ordered things to be done covertly. He has gathered all his tough guy assassins, including Laffer, intending on wrapping up this operation quickly. Rose gets Mike out of his handcuffs. Rose's buddies Big Harold and Quinzen are also held up there, hiding out from the virus. Rose then puts on the news, which shows Lassiter and Mike as the cause behind the outbreak, Lassiter being blamed for having inappropriate contact with test monkeys. The news puts everyone on edge, with Rose demanding an explanation from Mike. Still confused as to what he actually is, Mike tells them he might be a robot, but this confirms to Rose that he must be infected. Rose pulls a gun, but Mike quickly disarms him and hands the gun back, showing he is not a threat. Despite this, Rose insists on locking them in his basement until he figures out what to do. Phoebe wonders if he feels ill or weird, but staring at himself in a mirror, Mike notes that he feels amazing. Lassiter gets her secret drop from Peter along with a file revealing that the tough guy assets are actually mental asylum patients, psycho-criminals repurposed as killing machines with CIA brainwashing. Yates calls Peter as he found out about the supply drop over Lyman, and suspects it was him. Yates reminds him of the punishment for treason, but considering his history with Lassiter, he will let this slide only once. Lassiter calls again, but this time Peter gives her a warning of treason, no longer wanting anything to do with her plans. While Mike has no problem sitting around waiting for Rose to see reason, Phoebe starts looking for a way out. Yates plans to hit Rose's home in waves with his first 3 assassins ready to go. He also gives the green light on rifloxin gas, a gas which renders a person unable to harm themselves or others. Phoebe gets into the ceiling. Mike is considering proposing to her when rifloxin gas begins to seep into the building. Rose, Big Harold, and Quinzen are eliminated. One assassin enters the basement, but Mike manages to take him out. Phoebe rushes with him outside, gunning down the assassin waiting there. Mike is severely affected by the gas, and Phoebe reveals knowledge of the gas, what it will do to him, and how to counter it. Mike seemingly passes out, but the gas has unlocked more of his memories, this time ones of Phoebe wearing a suit in an office. Mike wakes soon after, now demanding to know how she knew about the gas. She tries her usual excuses, but Mike is fully awakened. Phoebe then confesses everything. She was actually his CIA handler, assigned 5 years ago to keep an eye on him. She swears she is still his girlfriend, but Mike has heard enough of her lies and runs back to the car.
No, hey, hold on! Hey, leave me alone! Unlock the door!
Phoebe follows him there, trying to convince him that she really does love him, but Mike can't separate her lies from her truths, and just wants to be left alone. Suddenly the car is rammed from behind, runs over a bridge, and overturns. It is Laffer, who has come to finish the job. He drags Phoebe from the car, but he won't kill her as he has orders to bring her in alive and knocks her out.
I'm gonna do something very bad.
With Mike still trapped inside the car, Laffer dumps gas all over it and sets it on fire. While Laffer is distracted, Lassiter shows up and saves Mike right before the car explodes. Phoebe is taken back to Yates. She is surprised seeing him, a desk nerd in charge of a field op, questioning his authorization, but Yates reminds her she has no right after deciding to sleep with the CIA's asset instead of returning to the agency. He now has everything, a major operation under his control, assets at his command, and now with Mike's death he is due for a promotion. Lassiter brings Mike to safety, but there he demands to know who she really is and what is going on. Here Lassiter explains that when Mike was 18, he was arrested for acid. During that time she was recruiting for the Wiseman program, and Mike actually volunteered to be experimented on. Out of all the volunteers, Mike was the only successful candidate. Despite this, his programming was driving him insane, so Lassiter shut the program down and gave all the candidates new identities and lives. All that boils down to for Mike is that the CIA messed with his head, then dumped him with a fake girlfriend. Lassiter goes on to add that his fears and panic attacks are all programming meant to protect him, and he is a totally different person. Just then a man spots Lassiter and Mike and calls it in, and Yates gets the news and is pissed. He then calls Peter, ordering him to deploy a drone to his location immediately. Seeing that Yates is willing to blow up the entire town just for Mike, Phoebe tries escaping, but is quickly captured. Yates then gets Mike's and Lassiter's locations, and while Phoebe doesn't think Mike's crazy enough to go back to the house, that's exactly what he is doing, as he is done with all this madness.
Lassiter and Asset Howell.
Lassiter warns that he could be attacked at any moment, but Mike thinks he's going to die anyway and would prefer to do so high. Yates deploys Otis to personally oversee this mission. Inside the home, Mike is calmly lighting up while Lassiter patrols the house. She tells him that Phoebe actually loves him. She always supported him during the program, and when she was tasked with getting Mike settled in Lyman and returning to the agency, she gave up her entire life and career just to stay with him. Just then Lassiter is attacked by an assassin. Mike shoves him out the window, but Otis opens fire on the house. He confirms Mike's location with Yates, who orders the drone strike on the house despite having two guys still on location. Otis bursts into the house, letting off shots at Mike, who evades and takes cover. Assassin Beetle tries cornering Mike, but Lassiter blasts him with the shotgun. As the drone nears, Yates orders it to engage, but Peter, who has to put in the activation code, just cannot bring himself to do it. Mike is being pinned down by rapid gunfire, but in a moment of clarity, he ricochets a bullet off a frying pan, taking out Otis.
But what about Otis?
Drone strike is a go!
Right.
Fire!
26.
Peter's hesitation causes the drone to pass its strike window. Knowing he is in deep trouble, he decides to contact Yates's superior, Agent Kruger, and confess everything. While Kruger starts heading towards Lyman, Yates finds his entire staff being evacuated and his operation being pulled right from underneath him. In a last-ditch effort, Yates calls Mike directly. Mike requests his surrender since he's out of options, but Yates doesn't plan to give up his entire dream just yet. He warns that he has Phoebe, and he should meet if he wants to see her again.
Your girlfriend's here?
He allows Phoebe to talk. Here she confesses that she has been the tree this entire time and has been holding him back, but despite everything she truly loves him. Hearing this, Mike plans to go save his girlfriend. Yates activates all 17 of his remaining tough guy assets, warning that Mike will be sneaking up on them, but Mike makes the loudest entrance ever, shooting the fireworks he bought from Otis's armored truck. Yates grabs Phoebe and he and his men escape into a convenience store, but Mike drives right in. He calls for Phoebe over the intercom, reassuring her that he loves her and he will be coming to get her soon. Mike then comes under gunfire. The tough guy assets try surrounding him, but Mike keeps moving, using everything in the store as a weapon. He gets stabbed during his fight, but this doesn't slow him down one bit. Phoebe warns Yates to give up and let Mike go, but he is too stubborn to listen at this point. As Mike pushes on, a bullet grazes his head, but this just seems to unleash him even more, and he eliminates all the men, leaving Laffer. Yates drags Phoebe to the back room, ordering Laffer to put an end to Mike.
Come out!
Phoebe struggles against him, so he knocks her down, but Phoebe is just buying time and has picked her cuffs and starts wailing on Yates. Laffer goes looking for Mike, telling him they have a lot in common. Mike attacks and disarms him. They both severely injure one another before Mike escapes as Laffer goes for his gun. Yates pulls himself away from Phoebe, but Lassiter grabs him with a rope around the neck. Laffer tells Mike he just wants to talk when Mike attacks, and takes him down once more. As Mike prepares to end him, he realizes that Laffer is indeed like him. Laffer apologizes for what he has done, unable to control the things the CIA put in his head. He is just another victim of the CIA, so Mike lowers his gun, sparing his life. Lassiter is choking the life out of Yates when Kruger shows up, scolding them like his two bad kids. Phoebe makes it back to Mike, finding him battered and bloodied but still alive, and the two plan to go home together. As they exit the store, they come face to face with cops and SWAT, but despite all the guns pointed at him, Mike sees the perfect opportunity and proposes to Phoebe right there, but they are both taken down before they can seal it with a kiss. Pete is taken into custody. Kruger has both Lassiter and Yates on their knees in the forest. Someone will be charged with treason and eliminated on the spot, and while Lassiter interfered with a government operation causing civilian deaths, that operation was not sanctioned in the first place. Yates is confident that if the operation worked, Kruger would be thanking him for removing an agency liability, but the thing is, he wasn't, and Kruger puts 2 bullets into his chest. Lassiter thinks she is next when Kruger reveals that he was her source. He warned her out of courtesy, but now she has activated a very dangerous asset, so she better turn it into a win, or she will be joining Yates. Lassiter thinks it already is. One of her Wiseman assets just eliminated 17 tough guy assets, making him the most successful ultra-program candidate in 60 years, and it would be a total waste to the CIA if they put him down. Now fully activated, Mike finds himself locked inside a CIA holding cell, and an agent comes to debrief him, calling him Agent Howell. Thanks for watching. If you had a good time, go ahead and hit that like button, drop a comment, and of course, subscribe for more recaps just like this. And hey, don't click away just yet. YouTube thinks you'll love one of these 2 videos popping up right here, so check them out next.